HorrorDeconstruction.
What's up, everybody? It's the HorrorDeconstruction. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Give us a like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell icon. Let people know about the show. Retweet us, etc., with your host, Komp and
Mama.
Today's film is...
I had a better name and I forgot it.
Is that a Dread reference?
What? No, it was going to be Robert Smith. It was going to be Robert Smith.
Okay, I get it now.
Today's film is Cure, Kayua, 1997.
Wow, IMDb doesn't even have that secondary name there. Cure, 1997. A frustrated detective deals with the case of several gruesome murders committed by people who have no recollection of what they've done. Written and directed by Kiyoshi Kurosawa. Oh, I guess it was a novel before it was a screenplay and then a film. Starring Masato Hagiwara, Koji Yakusho, Tsuyoki Ujiki, and a whole bunch of other people. So, why did I pick Cure 1997? Well, I'll tell you.
Because you got good taste in movies.
So, Kiyoshi Kurosawa, we did his film a long time ago. We did Pulse. Remember Cairo, the skate?
Oh, he did Pulse. Is that the ink one? No.
Yeah, where the people would turn into dust in the wall. So, I mean...
It was very abstract.
It is, so that's why it's not
This is a little less abstract.
Right. It's not as surprising that it's a little bit aloof and sort of you don't understand what the hell's going on a bit, but this is what I would call a Wikipedia movie. So like, as soon as you finish the movie, you just go right to Wikipedia. Like,
and it's got like a fucking novel written about it. It's good.
So yeah, so Kiyoshi Kurosawa, if anybody doesn't know, they call him a prolific horror filmmaker. Although I think he's kind of stepped away from horror films since 2000. He does a little bit more family dramas and character studies, but he's legit. I mean, I think the last sort of weird movie he did was called Creepy in 2016, which people say is really good. So I gotta check that out. But there's also Tokyo Sonata, obviously, Pulse / Cairo, with the worst U.S. remake I've ever seen, or one of the worst U.S. remakes.
I can imagine. Who's in it? Who's in it actually?
In the remake of a remake of Pulse.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I think it was Kristen, the girl one of the Frozen women.
Frozen women? I don't know.
I'll look it up. You know that Disney movie Frozen? Okay, so Pulse was remade. Let's do it real quick. In Pulse 2006. So remember, the original Cairo was about people kind of being disconnected with each other, and then the introduction of the internet at this long time ago. I think it was 2000 when Pulse came out. Cairo came out.
Wow, it was written by Wes Craven.
So, no, what are you talking about, really? No.
It says it on the wiki. I'm looking.
Oh, I guess so.
It's a remake. It's a remake, but it was written by Wes Craven and Kristen Bell.
It's Kristen Bell. Kristen Bell is Anna from Frozen. That's why
I've never actually seen Frozen.
It was horrible. It was just like they
really?
made like some an American remake of a Japanese movie being horrible.
I'm talking about Frozen. Frozen.
Yeah, she's the voice of the redhead.
Yeah, no, I'm saying Frozen. I've never seen Frozen.
It's alright. I mean, it's like standard sort of Disney movie. Anyway, back to Cure of 1997. Imagine this episode where I cut off the meandering. Cure 1997. So Kiyoshi Kurosawa is obviously this well-known director. He actually showed up in a couple of... what was the other movie that we saw? The really weird Shiraishi film. You know, the guy who did Noroi, and he also did that...
Oh, the one where they go to hell?
Yeah, he shows up in that movie. He shows up as himself in that movie.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, he has a little cameo. It's funny. So anyway, this movie stars Koji Yakusho. He's a pretty prolific Japanese actor. Like, if you've seen mostly any Japanese,
I recognize him.
Yeah, he's very recognizable. I'm trying to think of what other, like, if we've seen him in another horror film. Maybe he was in a Takashi Miike.
I was looking, and I couldn't recognize any of the films, but I've definitely seen him. Like. He's got very distinct eyes.
Oh, he was in... right. He was in Cairo. He was the ship captain in Pulse.
Oh, maybe that's what I know him from then. Okay, cool.
I could have sworn he was in something else that I've seen, but I've definitely seen him on other things. He has a very specific looking face, and he was like... He's been in a couple of this guy's films anyway. I thought he was in... Yeah, he was in 13 Assassins.
He was in 13 Assassins, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, which was a very good Takashi Miike film. I thought he was... Yeah, anyway, either way... He's the lead in this film. He is a detective who is trying to figure out these murder cases. I actually forgot Usually, I'm good at like remembering from the very beginning what this film is. This is a very
How does it start? It starts with
yeah. How does it start?
a senseless murder, and then wait, no, hold on. It starts with that husband hitting his wife with like a pipe or something.
Oh, it was a
Or
guy
hitting a
killing
prostitute. He
right?
hits a
Yeah,
prostitute
okay.
with a wife. With not with a wife, with a pipe, and then he's hiding in like a wall or something. Like
Yeah,
it seems
so
like a nice place to hide. I'd be paranoid about cockroaches though.
it was funny watching this film because I got the vibes of what was that other film that we used to see? The movie, remember the movie with it was a little girl group, and they were putting like hypnotic message, Suicide Circle. Remember Suicide Club?
Oh, Suicide's not Squad. I know what you're talking about. The one where they jump in
Suicide
front of
Club.
the train at the very.
Yeah, it's called Suicide Club. And,
Yeah, they jump in front of the train at the very beginning.
It had that same vibe because at the beginning of that movie, it's like this nurse just kind of disappears and like people die and it's all weird and shit.
Yeah.
I felt that vibe, and Japan is good with vibe.
This is very much a slow-moving '90s movie. Like
yeah, I gotta be honest. The first time I was watching it, because I was watching it on my laptop, and it was like the part when they first show the antagonist on the beach, and he's like walking for like a full 2 minutes, and I almost fell asleep. Like,
I
was
liked
okay.
it. Actually.
No, it's cool. The second time I started watching, I was like, okay, I get it. Now I'm like,
Well, I hate him. Oh my god.
who that?
Like every time the cop would freak out in anger, like I was like, yes, punch him in the face, please. Like
he is a very like
so
oh
antagonistic.
My gosh.
Like
He
I
is
just
because
want him to die.
But the way that let's go back into how the film begins. The film actually begins with the detective's wife. We don't know that yet, but she's in this sort of I guess it's a
Oh yeah,
it's a hospital,
yeah.
like a psychological hospital for people. Because we learn further on, she has some sort of onset early dementia or early. Oh boy, there you go. The irony that I forgot Alzheimer's. So she's she's trying to read the Bluebeard book, and then later on we come back to that because he's like, oh, do you remember reading this book? And she's like, no. Are you in the middle of an earthquake or something?
What are you hearing?
Okay, I was hearing sounds from the movie itself, and I thought it was happening in your place.
Oh, okay.
So this one guy kills a prostitute. He kills with a pipe over her head. The detectives find this. I thought it was funny how they find him inside like this little storage area.
But it looked like a
hallway.
PVC pipe. I don't think you could kill someone with that.
Yeah,
unless it was like zinc coated or something. I don't know.
That was probably just for the film itself, so they wouldn't really have to kill the woman actress with a fucking pipe.
They didn't do real killing in this movie, you're telling me? That's ridiculous.
So we're introduced to the detective himself, who is played by Koji. And his... I didn't know who that guy was. I thought he was just another cop. But it was... I think it's Sakuma, right? Played by Tsuyoshi Ujiki. I like that guy's look. He looked like he sort of just walked into the film. Like he wasn't supposed to be in the movie.
Oh, you're talking about his partner? That's
the
like
psychiatrist guy. Yeah, it wasn't his partner. He was just a psychiatrist who was on the job with him, and he's still working up to 26-17. So good for him. He's like this guy who's like he looks like he's got that spiky hair and the glasses and the mustache and everything. So Takabe and Sakuma are sort of discussing. I was watching them just eat those sandwiches, and they were just having this conversation where there's like photographs of all these people with their throats cut in an X formation. And
I guess you probably get desensitized to it after a while.
That's like a trope in every like movie though. Like when they
I feel like when I went to the bodies exhibit, I remember when I went in, I was like, I'm probably gonna get like nauseous, and then I was like,
there's nothing,
fine.
Yeah, that whole bodies exhibition is like I went to it when it was on the South Street Seaport in New York City.
Yeah, me too. I think did we go together ever?
No, we didn't go together. I remember just being not freaked out, but I was just like unsettled by everything. And it had, the whole place had this very plastic smell to it, because it was obviously
it's mostly fucking plastic at this point.
It was like masking up. You could tell it was masking up the smell of something else, though. You know what I mean? Like, those are obviously dead bodies that they must have dipped in some sort of rubber like solution, so they stayed fresh looking. But if anybody doesn't know,
that's how I want to go.
It's called Bodies, the exhibition, and I think a lot of those bodies come from China, and so it's dubious.
Oh yeah, I heard they might be like prisoners or something. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't know what it is. So anyway, it's a really interesting exhibition to go to, so you could look at death in the face. Anyway,
Yes.
so they're trying to find out why there are so many. I think it was about 5 murders that had happened so far, or 4 murders, where this similar slash across the neck with the axe and stuff like that. We cut to a beach with our
cut
unknown.
to the beach.
We cut to Miami, and he is Mamiya. Sorry. Kunio Mamiya, he's this guy on the beach, and he just randomly walks. I thought they were friends or something, because this one guy's like drawing on the beach, and then the other guy.
If somebody kept talking to me that way, I would never invite them into my home. Never.
Maybe it's different in Japanese culture. I don't know.
I would leave them to die if they were gonna die. No way.
Because this Kunio Mamiya guy, he's just like, he answers every question with a question, trying to get into the person's head. And you, at the beginning, you're like, what's going on with him? Like, you're trying to figure out, obviously, like, this guy. Because I didn't think there was going to be an antagonist. I thought it was going to be some sort of. There is obviously a supernatural edge to the film. But.
I thought it was going to be completely supernatural. I didn't expect it to be as straightforward as this.
I thought it was some weird phantom thing going on where these people are just getting possessed by somebody. Well, in a sense that they are. And the way that this character plays out, I only knew it was the bad guy because I looked at the poster, and he's like one of the faces in the poster, and I was like, oh, okay, so he looked like very sinister. So I was like, okay, he's the bad guy of the movie. So
why do they do that in posters? It's stupid.
They spoil it. I don't know. So I guess he's actors' faces sell a movie because people are too dumb to like look at an artsy poster and be like, "What's this about?" You know what I mean? Like if they'll see a movie with an actor like Nicolas Cage, they'll be like, well, "It's got to be a fantastic movie. It's Nicolas Cage in it." So then people run and see a Nicolas Cage movie.
Come on, Nick.
Little do they know. So this guy Mamiya goes to the home of this, this teacher just lets him come to his house. And you can see him working the guy, because at the beginning you don't know, like, you're like, is this guy just like, why is he? I bought it at face value that he didn't know who he was, that he was amnesiac, or he was just and it's an annoying amnesiac because he cut. But
he's
then
very annoying. I hate.
Because then when you watch the film and in hindsight you're like, oh, he's just trying to, because the parts where he's just getting upset with the teacher. You realize he just wants the teacher to answer his questions. It's not like he's frustrated not knowing who he is. He just wants the guy to, fall into his trap. So I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. But yeah, Mamiya is such a... Because he's aloof.
Just like he's annoying prick.
He's calm about everything. He has no passion for anything. The only passion you see for him in the film is when he starts trying to break that chair in the room. And it causes
he really likes the cop. He likes the cop.
Yeah, we'll get to why that is, I believe, because I had to rush to the wiki.
Well, because he can't crack them.
Yeah, because I got it about 60% of what the film is, and then I had to go to the thing to read. I guess
I think I understand 30%. Everything except the very ending. Like the last thing, it's like, wait, so what? Like,
so the main detective is with his wife, and she obviously has an issue because she keeps leaving on the washing machine. And every day he has to come and turn it off, and then he's ready to see his dinner and stuff like that. And I like that it's not hitting you over the head. Like, they never say, "Oh, she has dementia. Oh, she has this or that." Never says that. You just sort of you're led to it by yourself, by your own conclusions, which is interesting. And the teacher jumps out of the window, which I thought was pretty funny. It's not funny in real if that happened in real life, but you just see him like leap out the window. And I was like, "Oh, did Mamiya kill this guy?" No, apparently he cut his wife's throat, and then he decided to kill himself. So the detective is trying to figure out what the hell's going on, and little by little, we're led to it's about a 50-minute mark that the two actually meet up, because then there was a whole thing with the 2 cops, and the one cop kills the other one.
It was like a bit of a leap of logic, though, how he discovers what's happening.
Right, I think what it is, but I mean, it actually made some sort of sense.
I mean, a little bit, but that's like a pretty far-fetched. That's pretty far-fetched.
Like, I thought it was interesting when he said, was there a book that you read? Was there a thing? Because there was like a famous case, and I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but it's about the suicide forest, Akihabara.
Yeah, we watched a movie about it also.
Did we? I don't remember that.
Yeah, remember it was some girl that would kill people who were suicidal?
Oh, right. But that was like not even in the place. That was like a Spanish film, right? Where they couldn't even go to a real place.
I swore it was... Was it not about...
No, it was not the real place. It was called the Island of Souls or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Something. That was another movie where the bad guy was like pissed me off. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, but Akihabara is this Japanese forest where somebody wrote a novel. I think it was about a character that kills himself in the forest, and then people actually read the book and started killing themselves in real life. So that
really?
was that might be a tip towards that with this, because the guy says, "Did you see a movie where somebody got an X cut on their throat and killed? And did you read a book like that?" Because he was trying to figure out, why is this fucking suddenly there's a not mass hysteria, because it's only like literally 4 or 5 people that have been murdered like this, but in such a specific manner that if it was one guy, you never caught the culprit, then you can pin it on one person. But when it's suddenly different people doing it, then you're like, oh, okay, that have unrelated to each other. That's what I thought it was interesting. But yeah, obviously thinking that it was hypnotism. But it also, that can go...
Yeah, but also the guy said you can't hypnotize people to do shit that goes against their
morally
own morals.
wrong. So, I mean, that is also an occult aspect. So, I mean, you could be part of a cult where the cult leader says, do this, cut somebody's neck this way and kill them that way. So, I mean, it's not too far-fetched. The hypnotism angle is a little bit like, oh, okay, but...
If I had the power to hypnotize people to kill people, I would redo that scene in Naked Gun 1.
Oh, right.
With the baseball players. Yeah, I wasn't gonna say what you thought I was gonna say. That's in my heart.
We see that the main detective is just being broken down because he's frustrated with this whole situation, and the way they catch him is obviously because the doctor that Mamiya sees ends up doing the same, but she goes all the way. Like, she cuts the guy an X, but then she starts peeling the guy's face off. Which I don't know if they did that with any other people. So that why it directly led to, they were like, who was the last person he spoke to? And they were like, oh, is this suspect? So that's why it was a little bit more... Is he
psychic though? Because he knew that the detective saw the dead wife. Remember?
I think okay. So what we get into is like the main gist of the thing. What we find out about an hour and plus into the film is that the guy obviously was a psychology major. When they go into his house and they find all these books and shit like that.
So you think he's just really good at reading people and not psychic?
I think he implanted the thoughts into his head. Like, he literally just talked to him. Because we don't see the full mesmerizing technique. Do you know what I mean? So he obviously planting. That's why the other
we do see it once when he does it to the doctor lady. But then there's another scene that I had no idea what was happening. It was right before the. No. This is right before the very, very end. Like, right before that waitress scene. You just see, like, a dead person with an X on them being wheeled on a chair.
Yeah, that I gotta get into, because I looked at the
I didn't understand.
We'll get to that. But eventually it becomes a sort of... It's not really a cat and mouse game. Like, it's not a thing where a guy's chasing somebody else, because that's, like, fixed by an hour into the film. It's more about, like, what the hell's gonna happen next, or what's the bad guy's motivation. You never really know. I think what happened is that Mamiya is... figured out this technique of, in a sense, possessing people or hypnotizing them into causing criminal acts. So maybe he's just he's just a criminal. He's a psychopath, and he's telling, giving these people a way out. So I think what it is that these people are frustrated with what certain issues in their life, and they're just taking it out on other people. So I don't. There's small character elements. Like the lady doctor, when she tells the guy to pull his pants down, and he goes, "You're forward," and then all of a sudden, that might have been something. That might have been a hint to something else, because what she was frustrated with, like the psychiatrist, what he was frustrated with, and what he did. But he killed himself, though. The psychiatrist, he didn't really kill anybody else. And I thought it was an interesting. It's an interesting film in the fact that it's like so slow burn and so strange and weird.
Yeah, it's kind of long too.
It is. It's an hour and 51 minutes.
But I pretty much watched it straight through without any breaks or anything really.
Yeah, it took me about 2 days. It took me an hour for the first time and then 40 minutes for the next. I did like the part where the detective himself, he couldn't go under. He couldn't be really hypnotized. And I think what happened is that he had such an issue with his wife that it was frustrating him. Like that part where it got me was the part when he saw his wife hanging, but she really wasn't hung. So we can see. I thought that was interesting because we saw the suggestion in his brain. Like remember when he gets into the car, and all of a sudden there was that quick flash of the crucified monkey, and then there's all this other weird shit. And he was like, "What?" You could see him go, "What the hell is that?" So he knew to go back to his wife, and that's when he saw her hanging, and then they were in the house. So we can. I liked in real time that we saw that was the matter of suggestion. So I didn't know from then on. What was.
I want to
real,
learn this technique. Can I talk to Mamiya and be like, listen, teach me your ways?
Because it's also the part where the part where his wife leaves his food raw in a plate, and he picks up a butcher knife like he was gonna cut her up. But later on, at the end of the film, we'll jump to that part right now. Like you said, there's a part where it's like a nurse walking, and then we see like a woman, like I don't know if it was supernaturally being moved with on a bed or something, but it was the wife, but she was cut up like a horror movie. Like she looked like a fucking ghost, like one of those.
Yeah, what was that from? Do you think that was just a vision in the cop's head?
It is. I don't know. That's the thing that I don't understand. That just seemed. I don't know. That's what I don't understand, because what we're led to believe at the. I'm gonna jump and then we'll jump back into the regular timeline. But towards the end of the film, we're led to believe that now he has the power when he killed Mamiya. Which is, excuse me, very.
That's what I read on the thing, but like I don't. Right. I didn't get that feeling.
Because I was wondering about the final shot in the film, because it made no sense to me at all. It just seemed like, okay, he went to eat, and then there was this woman, and she started cleaning her knives and stuff. And apparently, what I didn't see from that image is that she actually picked up the knife to do something.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure. I didn't see her pick up. She was
gonna kill somebody, but the only thing that happens is he says thank you, and she walks away.
So she went to go kill somebody else, I guess.
Somebody whispers something into her ear. So I assume they must have said something. But
I went some whole other route. I thought it was just like... I thought I was being highfalutin. Because I was watching, like... The whole film was about suggestion. The power of suggestion and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I thought, it's like, even if you kill the guy who's making suggestions to kill somebody, I thought the woman was like a boss telling her to do something. And I was like, the power and suggestions and everything else. But then apparently it really is just about her, about to kill somebody. And I thought, it's an interesting thing. But yeah, apparently he has the power now, and I thought, how satisfying was that, right?
But he didn't tell she didn't tell her to do anything, and why would he do that?
But we don't. I know, but we don't see it. We don't see it happening. We don't.
But why would he? But what's his motivation? He's a cop.
That's one of the other.
I mean, he wouldn't kill people in a restaurant if he was a cop. Cops kill, I don't know.
One of the other theory. One of the theories was that it's a supernatural thing happening. That this thing that's giving them the power is just, screwing with their morality, because there was like actually unsettling. He did like something that he did in Cairo and here, which was like this unsettling image of a guy behind like very. Remember the psychiatrist was having the dream about the house, and you can barely see this guy right behind that plastic window, behind the window, and he was just like it was like an image of a man there who I think was Mesmer, the guy who invented mesmerization or something like that. And he and it's like a ghost. It's a ghost behind the thing. And the same thing happens towards the end when the detective goes into that same old house, which I think was implanted into the psychiatrist's head earlier. But he actually knew to come there for some reason to meet up with him. And he's looking down this hallway, and there's like this plastic drapery, which was there was very similar images to Cairo. Like the one part when he goes.
I guess I gotta rewatch Cairo.
Yeah, when the detective goes to see the guy in his detainment room.
I mean, I remember that was a good movie, but it was really fucking hard to understand at points. Like it gets so abstract.
And Mamiya's leaning against the wall, just like one of the guys who commits suicide in Cairo does. But anyway, he sees this plastic shroud, and you actually see a guy standing there. And so he starts walking up to it, and he goes, "What the hell?" And he opens up, he like trepidatiously opens it up, and it's just a photo of a guy. It's not a photo of a full body. It's just a photo of a guy's head and shoulders. But when it was closed, it looked like a person was standing there. So there's obviously some sort of supernatural element in that, and that shit creeped me out when I saw that. And then also the part when he was looking in the book of this guy's book, and it has a photo of Mesmer, but it's just a person without a face, like it's just like a blank slate. And I was like, ooh, like that stuff is like the very underrated, and it's underplayed. You know what I mean? It's not like some fucking ghost jumping out of the window and shit like that, like every other horror movie does.
I would be curious if there was like an official answer, but I guess not.
Yeah, I'm sure Kiyoshi was like, oh no, that's he won't say shit to anybody. But I will take it that he was more powerful than Mamiya, in the sense that he was so he was abrasive, the detective himself.
Yeah.
He didn't want to take shit from anybody, so that's why he kept, trying to kick this guy's ass. And Mamiya was like, okay, I think Mamiya felt like he might have had some power over him because he says, "Why did you let me out?" So I guess, somebody killed I guess Mamiya killed the cop and anybody else that was there.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's why I was a little confused because he's.
Yeah, I think he did.
So, the cop didn't do it, right? You think Mamiya did?
No, the cop, Mamiya did it. I think.
Yeah. So
when he escaped,
it's something very.
But it's like very vague and quick, so it's like hard to know.
And it may sound like in our confusion that we're saying it's not a good movie, but I think that's the opposite.
No, I thought it was a great movie.
I think
like,
it's there's a mood.
I gotta rewatch it maybe or something.
There's a mood to this film that feels very disturbing. Like it just feels. It's not like the flashiness of Seven. Do you know what I mean?
I love these kind of like slow-paced kind of. I guess it's like a thriller. Is it like
it's like a thriller neo noir type of movie.
Yeah, I love this kind of vibe of like, and it's like feels like it's from the 90s.
And it feels like a dream. You know what I mean? There's just something really. It relaxes into itself. It's like meditating. The movie itself is meditating, and the part.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about how that great scene when he just fucking shoots Mamiya and kills Mamiya. It's like the.
Yo, so satisfied.
Yes, Mommy is just like talking all this shit, and he shoots
like
him. And he's like,
smug asshole is finally dead. Thank God.
And he's like, "Do you remember now?" And then like you can see because the psychiatrist had noted from an 1800s video, 1800s footage of some lady being put under. I was trying to look. I was like, when was film invented, just to make sure. But then I was like, I shouldn't really doubt a filmmaker that.
Well, it was a daguerreotype.
Okay. Well, you know that phrase than I do. So, I guess at the end...
am I wrong? Is it not a good... I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Phonograph cylinder.
I'm talking about the movie that the psychiatrist showed.
Yeah. It was a phonograph cylinder. 1896.
A phonograph is for... A phonograph is an audio, not I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the video that they were watching of the woman, the one who killed her husband.
No, why do you just make fun of me some more?
So, and then at the end when Mamiya tries to make the X with his hand to hypnotize him, and then, the detective just shoots him. He's like, he's tired of his bullshit.
Yeah.
And, so I can't really say that I know 100% what happened in this film, as in the pass-off towards, the torch of having that power. If that's what it is, that's what most likely it is. I mean, okay, but I was completely, like, at a loss of when...
If I had that power, though, I wouldn't do X's. I would do asterisks.
Just make it really complicated.
Or like, I do like something like really cool, like lightning bolts, like a Harry Potter sort of thing, so they could maybe think it's J.K. Rowling who did it.
So a film was such a device was created. It says 1880s. I'm not sure. I gotta make sure. Oh, when was film invented? I thought it was.
I'm sure that the director researched it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I mean, what were things that you took away from this film? Like, what you felt worked and what you feel didn't work? Obviously, the explanation.
I love these slow burner ones. You never see them anymore because, like, I don't know. It just felt like it was like an old movie from the 90s, like very slow, and like Japanese people seem to nail this feeling because I don't see it too often in American movies.
I think that's what worked most of it. Obviously, you can't really blame the fact that it's not clear enough about what happens because that's the type of director it is, and it's appropriate for the type of film it is because it's not like Seven where they outrightly have, like, an American film has to have an explanation at the end.
Apparently, Bong Joon-ho, the guy that did like Host and Parasite,
says this is the best movie, right? The best horror movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's the best film of all time, or one of them, and it influenced him.
Okay, an alternate version of the film includes an ending which actually shows the waitress kills somebody before it cuts to credits. Okay, so then that's your confirmation that he has the power now.
Yeah, I mean, it was obvious the way she was holding the knife.
I didn't know.
It shows it for like a split second. And
I thought she was just wrapping up the knife with the napkin.
No, she's holding it in like a very specific "I'm gonna kill someone" way, but like it only shows it for like a second.
When I tell you that I didn't see anything with that ending. I just saw her putting her stuff away, and that's it. I was like, okay, I didn't get. I was like, all right, whatever. So this is also from the trivia. At an hour and 29 minutes in, when the possessions videotape is shown, you can see the shadow of someone. It probably is Mamiya's shadow, although this video is made in the end of 1800. This means that Mamiya is the devil, considering the opinions of some characters.
I don't buy that.
But it's important to say that Kiyoshi Kurosawa didn't explain the real meaning of the movie. Why did I read that trivia? Who wrote that bullshit?
Yeah, that's not even the trivia. That's a speculation.
They say it's a shadow.
We might as well put what we're saying in the trivia.
Yeah, that's true. Because the video, it's just a faceless person doing the X motion in front of the person. So I guess that guy leaped to another, idea that maybe Mami has been alive.
You can't write a trivia and put an opinion in a trivia. You have to put during the filming of this, the guy broke his ankle or something
So then so Mamiya's gonna wait let's say 100 years, and then he's gonna let a detective shoot him. It's like, okay, what was the point of that? I guess honestly, if you were sort of this immortal person, something's got to get you by the time. We can't keep pulling the same shit because. I think
the devil can't be killed by bullets.
I think it's just the window of time that makes everything closer, like technology sort of. That's why I'm sure there's still a lot of serial killers out there, but it makes it a little bit harder. Do you know what I mean? So he's got to change his shit a little bit. Although with hypnotism, you can't really automatically guess hypnotism is killing people. Either way.
Yeah, I mean. If I was going around hypnotizing people to do it, would anybody ever think that? No. And I wouldn't do it sloppy like him. I wouldn't do my doctor. I would do people that I've never met before.
Yeah, and you do them in such I don't know.
Sporadic. I'd drive 400 miles and do it in this city, and then I'd go to a rural area no one's ever heard of and do it there.
Either way, it's an interesting film in its tone, and there's nothing about it that feels cheap at all. This is what you would when you watch this film. You're like, oh, this is you can pick your nose up in the air and be like, I saw Cure 1997. It's one of those type of films because it's a really beautiful looking film. It has that grainy 1990s look that it's shot on film and stuff like that. It's a really beautiful looking film. The acting across is all really good. The pacing of it is, even though it's a little bit slow, it works for this type of film because it's supposed to. It lets you at least question what's going on, and it does give you somewhat an answer of a guy doing this because he's a nut. It doesn't give you why he's doing it, but really, do people really ever really say why they do things in the first place? And it's a very a really disagreeable antagonist.
I hate him. What's your rating?
I would give this about 8.5 out of 10. Going into a messed up apartment and finding a weird crucified monkey in the bathroom.
Okay. I give it an 8 out of 10. Bringing a annoying, horrible man with dementia into your house instead of not doing that. Out of 10.
And with that, what's the final word?
Friday, I'm in love.
The HorrorDeconstruction.